Happy grows it, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're not going to be doing any planting stuff, but we're going to be working on a small blue barrel that I have versions of, only 55 gallons. This one here is, I'm not sure what the gallons are, but this one's approximately 20 inches tall and 11.5 inches wide. I've got 12 slots. This is just tape for now, but I've got 12 slots on each side. I'm missing two here. I'm just going to do half this barrel today just to show you everyone how I've been doing these. I like these smaller barrels. I can put in different spots around the yard, but most importantly is I had my mother in an apartment building, and what I found there was it was great for her balcony. It didn't weigh too much, got lots of great sunshine. It was small enough that she could move around easily enough. Alright everyone, what I'm going to start doing is I already kind of marked out with this painter's tape roughly where I wanted everything to go. I'm happy with these locations, so just eyeball them, to be honest. Each one of these slots are 2.5 inches wide. And I'm going to be using this 2.5 by 1.5 inch wooden stud with a 45 on it. After I get all these prepped, I'm going to heat it up, I'm going to stick this in there, and we're going to open up a little spot for our plantings. Alright, so I'm going to start off by just putting these black lines on here. And this is what I'm going to, you're not going to see these when it's finished. Because what I'm going to do is drill them out on each end of this line, and that's going to help so that it doesn't kind of tear past the end spot here. So if I drill a hole here and then cut this with a saw, when I stick that 2x4 in there to open it up, hopefully I won't rip past the end point. I'll stay within my 2.5 inches. Now I haven't used these little barrels. Well, I can't say that. I've used these little barrels with less holes in them. Probably about 10 holes or so. And my mom used it, and she's never had a problem with anything like the barrel misforming or anything like this. I have had the 55-gallon drum barrels for likely close to 10 years now. And they haven't even faded, they're not sagging, the holes aren't getting bigger, whatnot. So I'm really happy with the way these turned out, and they're food grade. Let me mention that they are food grade. They had food in them before. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm not sure. I'm not going to get into what the numbers are just in case it's different other places, other countries or whatnot. You have to kind of do your own investigations on where you find your barrels and where they're from, what they were used for. So as you can see, I got that black line there. On this I was short 2 pieces of tape, so instead of wasting more tape, I'm just going to do this here. Alright, so this I'm going to waste, because I don't need any more. All these. See, I got my lines left. Alright, just bear with me folks, I gotta grab a drill bit for these guys. Okay. Alright. So I'm just gonna go right on the edges of these here. And this is about a 1/2 inch. It goes down to about a 1/2 inch spread, I believe. Thereabouts, anyway. Yeah, about a 1/2 inch. might end up being closer to 2 3/4, but that's okay. That's all the holes. Now, I've got this old saw here that's just a favorite of mine. It gets a little loud, but I'm just going to show you this process in full so that you have a good idea of what we're up to here. See soon that that's not going to make a difference. You can hide it. Just I'm going a little bit faster than what I normally would with my hand tools, but you can hide that once because we're going to pucker it in, right? That's with that 2x4. So. Going to, these here just held handles before, big black handles, kind of, you push them down and hold on to that. This barrel's pretty thin. The big 55 gallon barrels has like a white liner are a white plastic piece on the inside, so they're essentially twice as thick. Now this is pretty nice to work with, but you see here, I kind of wrecked it. I'm taking the handles off. So I'm going to do a second video because I'll have this other side done. I'm not going to video the whole barrel, make the video boring, too boring. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to cut just to the top, and then the rest you're going to have to wait to the next video. Because I'm going to make a watering system for these things that's pretty cool. I like to just sit and get inspired sometimes, and it came to me that I just happen to have all the right pieces for it. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy torch here. Just a regular propane camping torch, bottle, but whatever. Oh, sorry. Here. I'll show you this real quick. Just got like a little edge. I'm going to try to cut underneath. Okay. Now I'm done with this one. I'll bring in the torch here. I'm just going to heat this up. I'm going to keep it away. I don't want the flame on the barrel. I want the flame out a little bit, but I just want the heat touching this. Because you can actually see the barrel changing, the plastic changing colors. Let's see here. I don't put a very big flame. Just a little. Maybe a little more. And I'm just going around like this. You can kind of see, like, I don't know what you would call it, the warming of the plastic maybe. But this is kind of, I'm outlining where I want my opening to be first. Because I want it to bend real nicely here. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth. I got 5 55-gallon barrels outside that I use for my own household. I probably made at least 5 more for other people. But with the 55-gallon ones, this one here's got 12 of these slots per side, so 24. And like I say, the barrel itself, what is a barrel? 20 inches by 11.5, so in a 1 foot square footing, what the barrel's going to take up, I'll essentially have 24 square feet worth of growing surface, growing area, spaces. Each one is going to take up my, it won't be a foot size, this isn't a foot obviously, but the plants we would normally put in a 1 foot square, I'm just going to put in these little 2.5 inch slots that I make here. So I don't want to heat it up too bad, because I don't want it to be, I want it to be manageable. I want it to be pliable, but I don't want it to be dripping the plastic inside of the barrel, because then it ain't going to be very useful. Yeah, I got that a little too much. And you're going to discolor it a little bit maybe if you hold it too much. You can probably use a heat gun. I don't see a problem with a heat gun. I watched, when I learned about this, is what a lot of guys were using. So I'm going to do this. Press it in. Now I'm just going to hold it upwards. Okay guys, I heated that one up way too much. I'm going to hold this upwards, because this is how I want the soil to be. I don't want the soil to spill out, I want the soil to spill in. The one negative part about these is Mother Nature always wants her soil back. So these things, I don't know where the soil goes, if the blows out of the holes are really what happens, but they do have a tendency of needing to be refilled with soil quite often, which is a good thing. At first it was not, I'd hate to say labor intensive, they're tiny little holes, even in the 55-gallon ones where I use true 2x4s. But it gives you an opportunity to add in some compost or maybe some aged manure or any other benefit that you could add to your plant. It gives you that opportunity to add it to the base of the plant. You can add it to the top too if you want. I've put in my 55-gallon drums, I've put bird watering features on top with dollar store bowls and that sort of thing. I'll be making a video of that sometime in the future. I love making those too. I like making sure that if your birds aren't watered, then your birds are going to start pecking at your fruits to get some moisture in the heat of the summer, right? So I like to leave something out there. And of course we got to take care of bees, so I make a portion of it very shallow so that the bees can stand on rocks or whatever else I put in there, just so the bees don't drown as they get in there drinking their water. You want to hold it in here till it holds its shape, because once it gets kind of, if you take it out too early, it might kind of sag back into an undesirable shape. So I leave it in there for a little while. You get the feel of it. This barrel, like I say, it's only one layer of blue plastic. It doesn't have the second layer of white inside, so it does heat up faster, but it also cools faster. Now this is the closest I've ever come before between one another, so this center section could get tricky, but see what I'm going to do is I'm going to see that beautiful hole there, just waiting for a lettuce plant to go in. Alright, so I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to skip the center, so I don't want to keep heating right next to what I just did, because then I'm going to kind of weaken or not weaken, but maybe unform what I just formed too much. Taking what we just learned here a second ago, I'm going to heat this maybe up a little less. It doesn't take a long time to get these done. It's the long time I'll show you here in a minute is I use a couple different tools, because there are a couple different tools to take like the fraying off from the saws and the drill bit. Just so when you do reach your hand in there, or if your kids reach your hands in there, you don't get all these little sharp tiny pieces of plastic. Plus I don't want the tiny pieces of plastic all the way through my dirt and soil and yard and whatnot. So this is a fun little project for the kids. If you got a kid old enough to handle materials like this, I got a 15 and a 10-year-old, so I'm very blessed to have awesome kids. Alright. See what this is. Hopefully this will work. Right in the middle there. Yep. Perfect. I'm going to angle it up just like so. I'm going to hold it for a second. Yeah, I grow strawberries, herbs, thyme and basil, oregano, all kinds of strawberries. Lettuce is great for these. I always put I always put a lettuce plant on either side, and whichever one starts to grow the fastest wins. I take the other one out, unless they somehow fit, like if you get a head lettuce maybe. Leaf lettuce will grow up and then they'll start to fall off, fall down as you're picking off the leaves, so then you end up like a weird looking lettuce plant, but it's all the same. Probably, yeah. And like I say, these little barrels, I mean, talk to your building manager long before you take the time, money, and effort to put into one of these things to grow on your balcony. Just make sure you're allowed to have it, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to guess the weight of it. It'd be well less than 100 pounds, so I don't think it would be an issue for any balcony unless it's an issue, I guess. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, I'm going to do this one just to give these two time to cool. And this is what this is the one thing I've learned doing all these barrels, is it's not good to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then this, it's good to just kind of stagger them a little bit. Give the plastic time to not only cool, but harden and set in its place, so that when you do go back and do the neighboring hole, it's not as easily misshapen from the extra heat. But these things are so good. Like I say, I grow so much lettuce in these things. I don't buy lettuce from May till October, November, really. And it's so much better than anything you can find in any grocery store. I know I'm partial, but if you give it a try and you pull off that nice lettuce out of here, butter crunch or deer tongue or whatever you want. Stick this in here. Like I say, I used to do these upside down, so on my 55-gallon drums, I do this, have the barrel upside down. And that way when I do this, this would be facing the other way, and you can put like a brick on there. But this plastic's so thin, it just doesn't need all that extra jazz. And a 55-gallon drum, I'll show you in the summertime once I get back outside. Right now we're up to our knees in snow here. And everything's covered in snow. But in the summertime I'll bring you out and show you my 55-gallon drums. And what I got is I got 7 holes around, and there's either 7 holes, or 7 rows, or 8 rows down. So you get, what's that, 49 or 56, 49 or 56 I think it is, hole openings. And a 55-gallon drum, I think, is 2.5 feet wide. So on a 2.5 foot wide footprint, you get 49 square feet of worth of grown space, plus whatever you can stuff in the very top. So they're just awesome. I love these things. Some people put a tube in there for worms and such. I started that way. I also breed red wigglers and earthworms in my house. But the only thing I found with doing that is it takes up not a lot of space, it doesn't take a lot of space, I can't say that, but it's too much work. I don't, as an old hippie here in the city, it becomes too much work, and I find a better way to do it. So I like just putting the whole thing with dirt inside, and that way I can kind of control it a little bit better, throw some wood chips on top, keep the moisture in there a bit easier. I can fill the whole top with plants, but whatever you fill the whole top with plants with, try not to make it something that comes back every year, because like I say, the soil keeps sinking and you're going to continuously be adding more. So if you put too many plants in the top, what happens is you're going to end up burying your plants, because the whole thing just kind of sinks. Oops. Pay attention. That should be more than enough. There we go. And that didn't work out too bad. I'm not misshapen too bad here. You see this here? It's looking alright. Now I normally wouldn't come back right away this fast and do this one, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of what she's going to look like here. I want to get these top 3 done because I want to show you what I was talking about, cleaning stuff up a bit. I made these, so I kind of know the hidden dangers, I guess it would be. Oops. But yeah, I just don't want my boys to stick their hand in there, my wife to stick their hand in there and cut themselves in these little sharp nodes in there. Because everything is getting pushed in. There's nothing sharp on the outside. All the sharp stuff is on the inside, which is beneficial for sure, but unnecessary risk. This takes a second to clean it up. Because I wasn't paying attention there. Alright. Okay. So, on the inside, it might be kind of hard to see here. I might wait a bit. But on the inside, you get this, I don't know what you really call that, phrase, I guess. I got this here, it's for taking the burrs off. It's called plastic burrs. It's for, this is tools for taking burrs off of metal. Doesn't work too bad for this stuff. see, it's pretty quick. Take that, just trim them off nicely. Some spots you can't get to, go the old trusty X-Acto knife. Just be careful, don't be cutting yourself. This is for these barrels that make you healthier. You don't want to check yourself out while you're doing it. Alright, get in there, do the other one too. And as you can see, that's the difference. This one's nice and use a little bit more tuning here, I guess, but you can see the difference between all those plastic burrs gone compared to all these ones. These ones are not gone. You could burn them off, but personally I just rather cutting them off that way. I know they're, and it gives a little bit of a chamfered edge too, because this plastic, once we cut it with that saw, it's got that sharp 90-degree angle on it, right? So doing this, just kind of let's kill all that nonsense. Alright. I'm going to finish this one up. This is it for today. This is just one of maybe a couple of videos I'll do on this, because I like to, I'll tell you later, there's a couple things I do in here to make it watering a lot easier, and it's not easier for like the home gardener, but if you have a balcony, you're going to be very interested in the watering system I put for this, just because it makes it so much more simpler. You get everything nice and saturated with water, not oversaturated, but just properly watered. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Happy grows it. Have a good one. Bye for now.